Let's now talk about adding chamfer distances. So here in this drawing, as you can see in this isometric view, we have the chamfers here and then we have some chamfers here. Now, the first thing that you need to know before adding chamfer is the view where it is clearly visible. So select the view where chamfer is clearly visible. Now in this case, this section view is the one where we can clearly see the chamfer. So we have chamfer here, we have the chamfers for these holes as well. So that's where I'm just going to add the chamfer now. Now to add the chamfer, go to the dimension option right here and select chamfer dimension. Now start with the chamfered line, which is the inclined line. So I'll just select this line and then select the reference. In this case, I'll select this as the reference and we have the chamfer. Click at a point and the chamfer is added. Now we have the chamfer distance and the angle. Now the chamfer distance is the distance along this reference line, and if you just extend this reference line, then the distance from this point to this point right here, if you extend this, then there will be an intersection. So that's the length which this is representing, 1 unit along the horizontal line. It's not the length of this inclined line. Another thing is this 45-degree angle, and this 45-degree angle is the angle between this inclined line, the chamfer line, and this reference line. So that's this angle right here. Now when making chamfer, always make sure that you start with the chamfered line. In this case, I've started with this chamfered line, but if let's say I start with some other line, I'll go to maybe chamfer again, chamfer dimension, and now I'll start with this line and then I'll click on the inclined one. I'll get a chamfer like this. And of course you don't want it, right? So chamfer arrow should be added here. So that's why it's always recommended that you select the chamfered line first. So I'll just select it and delete it. In a similar way, you can add chamfer on other features. So if you want to add chamfer here, once again, just select the chamfered line first and then the reference line, and then you have the chamfer. Now the chamfer is added along the direction of the chamfering line, but if you don't want it, if you just want to just add it horizontally and not along this extension line, then you can select the chamfers. And if you want to select several, then press and hold Control and select more than one chamfers, go to leader, custom text position, and just make it horizontal like so. And now it's added horizontally. So that's how you can change it. You can also move it away from this. Now let's talk about path length dimension. And the path length dimension cannot be added directly in the drafting environment, and we just need to add it in the part modeling environment. For that, I'll directly go to this path length drawing. Now consider a situation where we have this belt and also these two pulleys. Now we know the length of belt and we just want to figure out the distance between these two, pulleys, the center of these two pulleys. For that, we can add a path length dimension along this, and using that as a reference, we can then measure the distance between these two pulleys. So to do that, we need to go to the sketch environment, and for that I'll select this belt, and that happens to be this feature. So I'll just go to this sketch 1 and edit sketch. Now here, if you look at this sketch, you'll notice that we only have radius and the belt thickness and again radius. We don't have any dimension constraining the distance yet, because that's what we want to figure out using the belt length. So I'll go to smart dimension and I'll select this path length dimension. Now select this path, and SolidWorks will automatically select this entire path. If not, then you can right click and select the loop, and that's also going to select the entire path. Now I'll click here, this path length, and that's added. It is 600 unit currently, and also the drawing, as you can see, is fully defined. Now if you change the belt length or this path length, it will be equal to the length of belt, and let's say we know the belt length, it is 480 unit. Just change it, click OK, and there we are. Now it is updated. Now with the changed length, we can simply calculate the distance. So simply just go to smart dimension and check the distance between these two centers. That happens to be 130.16. Of course, I'm not going to add this because it will over define my drawing. So I'll just cancel out of this drawing and also exit out of this sketch. So here we are. Now this dimension, this path length, is added in the part environment. So if you want to show it in the drafting environment as well, then you can use a different approach. Let me show you how it works. So first, I'll just go to this drop down and select make drawing from part. Select a template. In this case, I'll select NCB template, click OK. And well, here we have the NCB template. Now I'll select this front view, drag it and drop it in the drawing. All right, that's added. Click OK. But right now we don't have any dimension. And here also you can add the dimensions, but the path length dimension cannot be directly added here. It just won't make any sense in this case. So in order to bring the path length dimension from the part modeling environment, we'll use this model item tool. Now using model item tool, you can not only bring path length, but also other dimensions which are used in the model environment. So maybe I'll just go to this model item and I'll select this view. Now in the source, select entire model. So we just want to select this entire model for bringing the dimensions, and then select the view where you want to show these dimensions. Now you can also select the features which you want to import. So you can select dimensions, you can select the whole features, you can select the callouts for whole, and several other features like tolerances and all. If you want to import that, just select these boxes. If you have added annotations in the part environment and you want to bring it here, you can select these here, and you can also select the reference geometries, for example, axes, plane, and all the other things. So if you want to bring it here, you can just select it from this list and SolidWorks will bring it here. Also, if you have hidden features and you want to include those features and its dimensions, you can check this box. I'll just keep it unchecked for now. And with that, I'll click OK. And here we are. So it is now added in our drawing. So we have got this radius of 20. That's the thickness of belt. And of course, we have the path length here. So that's added. Now I'll click OK. And here we are. Now the dimensions which we have here is the dimension referenced directly from the part environment, which means all these dimensions are the driving dimensions. So if you change any of these dimensions, they're just going to change the feature as well. So in this case, the path length is 480. I'll just double click this and I'll change that to once again 600 or any other value if you want. Click OK. Now changing this will not only change this feature here in the drafting environment, but also if you go back to the original drawing in part environment, it will change it. But as you can see, the changes are not quite visible. That's because we may need to rebuild the drawing. So I'll click OK and I'll click on rebuild. And now we have the updated dimensions. So with 600 path length, this is how it's going to look like. And if you go to its part drawing, that's going to change as well. So I'll just go to sketch, and this feature right here, as you can see, it is 600. So I'll exit out of this. And now let's see one more example. So I'll just go to window and I'll select this radial part sheet. And here we have a view. Now here also we have added several different dimensions in the part environment. And let's say we want to bring it all inside this drawing. For that, we can go to model item, select entire model, then select the view and just click OK. And now all the dimensions are added from the model view. Now these dimensions can also be changed, and if you change it, it's going to change the entire feature. And here also, if you want to, you can actually delete these features. For example, we have 18 for these three values. So maybe I'll just select 18 here and delete it. Also, you can just place it at different locations. You can just move it around and just place it wherever you like. So you can basically bring all the dimensions directly from the model environment into your drafting environment